eve of Formula E's 150th race. It couldn't be a better backdrop here at the Motorsport Mad Mexico City. Now, FP1 has just concluded. I'd like to say that joining me now, we have Billy Monger and James Rossiter to unpick some of that action. And in a moment, we will be bringing you all the gossip and the behind-the-scenes action that's been going on down in the paddock. But first, let's recap on FP1. Always a few unexpected results, but as expected, the Porsche powertrain looking on top form, James.
Yeah, looking very strong there from the winner of the first race. He's looking on good form there, Jake Dennis, and Pascal Wehrlein hot on his heels. So the two of them are very, very fast here. Any
unexpected results from you, Benny?
It's hard to say unexpected results when you just look at how tight that qualifying session was, because I could say unexpected, but that's like someone's really outperformed their car. The top 10 there were covered by less than 0.3 seconds, 0.3 of a second. It is super tight around this circuit, which means that we can get surprises, we can get drivers that outperform the car and deliver that special lap. So I think anyone really at this stage, it feels like, could be in the mix because of the nature of the circuit.
Well, let's take a look at how the final classification played out here. So as we have it, there we are, Jake Dennis at the top of the timings. He is, of course, our race winner from last time out. He's also won here on his championship winning year. Pascal Wehrlein, Oliver Rowland in third. Then you've got the DS Penske, another Porsche powertrain. Nissan with Norman Nato making amends from crashing out last time out. And we've got Jaguar Racing and the Citroen boys 8th, 9th and 10th. On the second page, you can see Mahindra Racing there, 11th and 19th. Envision Sebastian Buemi down in 12th. Nick Cassidy, obviously on the podium last time out, is going to be looking for a bit of extra pace. Then we've got the Cupra drivers, another Envision race with Joel Eriksson in 16th. And yeah, ultimately, this is going to be a critical time for them to be getting as much data and analysis done, as much learning from that session as possible to use before we have a very, very busy day tomorrow with FP2 qualifying and race. There is no rest for the wicked.
There's definitely not, and that's Formula E, that's what we're used to. The teams know they have to come out of the blocks and they have to deliver from FP1, because if you get behind the curve in a series like this where it's so tight, it's hard to turn that around in the space of, you know, a few practice sessions and qualifying sessions tomorrow. A lot of work to do overnight for the teams that may be struggling a little bit more so, but it is just tight out there.
Yeah, and we did see not too much action, but a little bit of action in that session, including Pascal Wehrlein kissing the wall. We thought turn 9 was going to be a place of action, particularly in the race tomorrow, because it has changed. We no longer have a chicane at turn 8 and 9. James, talk us through.
I mean, you can see here just how close he came, and he very nearly went in the wall quite hard there, Pascal Wehrlein, at turn 9. And what's changed is you arrive so much faster now at that corner. It's very, very tricky to take that last half a tenth. You know, you're looking to gain 2-3 meters on the brakes, and the penalty that you could potentially pay is ending up in that wall. And in Formula E, it's so difficult to transition from the 300 kilowatt speed to the 350, because you arrive going 10 kilometers an hour faster, 20 kilometers an hour faster, and then you have to brake 5 meters earlier. 6 meters earlier, and you're not really sure where your braking point is. So I think that's going to be a really interesting one to watch and see how that evolves going into the qualifying session tomorrow.
And ultimately, you know, where do you want to put in the extra practice? Because you've got to nail your 300s to make sure you've got your position in the duels. But obviously, once you're in the duels, you want to make sure you're getting through to the final.
Yeah, I think for me, looking at how tight that session was, it really does feel like if you don't have a car that you're confident in 300 kilowatt mode, if you can't make it to the duels and you can't show that pace. So for me, I'd be focusing on 300 kilowatts, focusing on getting into the later stages of qualifying, and then figuring out attack mode 350 kilowatts and what you've got available to you.
Another moment happened with Lucas Di Grassi. Let's take a look at that. James, talk us through.
Yeah, so Lucas had a bit of an issue going down into turn 1 where he brakes, and you can see on his steering wheel these blue lights flashing on the top of it. Now for me that indicates that there's been a system failure or an issue, and he's not getting the regenerative braking force from his electric motors, and he just couldn't slow the car down. Luckily at turn 1 there's a huge runoff area, and he could just go down there, turn the car back around and come back to the pit lane, and hopefully the guys are going to diagnose that and find out what went wrong, because that's not nice for a driver when you don't have many brakes.
Yeah, we've seen it before in past history of Formula E. I mean, Edo Mortara once had a huge crash when he had problems with his brakes. It doesn't give you the confidence, does it, to then go out and race as hard and fast as possible.
But like James said, as a racing driver, losing your brakes and not being confident in what you've got in terms of your braking setup, that can be catastrophic to a driver's confidence. It really can be. If you don't know what you've got in that stage of the corner, particularly, you know, James touched on it there, it happened in turn 1, lots of runoff. If that happened in turn 9 with the new profile we've got, you could be in the barriers, a huge crash at that point, the team's got to rebuild the car, it could be a real weekend game changer.
Right, now it's time to go down to Alexa, who is talking to the team principal of Andretti, Roger Griffiths.
Roger Griffiths, 150th race, Jake Dennis topping the timesheets in FP1. Talk us through your session out there.
Yeah, very pleased with the way things have gone. You know, we've had a couple of changes of personnel here for reasons I can't go into at this stage, but the support we've had from Porsche to get us to where we are has been really strong, and so very pleased with what's gone on. So Jake is particularly happy. Timing and scoring is a little bit of a mess, so it's a bit hard for us to fully understand what's going on, but we think at this stage P1 at 300 and P1 at 350, so we like that. You know, we spend a lot of time looking at the 300 part because that's really what's important about the group sessions and getting us through into the duels, whilst the 350 is nice for the glamour shot, if you like, at the end of the session. Felipe has been a little bit more of a struggle out there. Obviously, new track for him, and you know, it's what we expect with a rookie. There's a little bit of miscommunication going on, or understanding around traffic. So we need to work through that one. But you know, all in all, I think Jake's super happy. We're happy the way the session's gone, and yeah, looking forward to tomorrow. Obviously, a lot of track evolution here, so you know, temperatures tomorrow can be very different first thing in the morning. But no, good start.
Let's wait and see how you get on. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Quite amazing. Roger Griffiths, one of only 7 people to have competed in all 150 Formula E races. What an achievement. I wonder how he's going to celebrate.
I wonder, hopefully this weekend he'll be hoping for some strong results, because he's still leading Andretti as a team. He wants to deliver every weekend.
Yeah, I mean, he has, though. You know, I suppose over the course of Andretti's history, this isn't necessarily, well, the previous season wasn't their finest, but they're always up there competing at the top, and potentially this could be a bit of a pivotal season for them when the tide is starting to turn.
Yeah, I mean, they're returning to form, aren't they, Andretti? It's been a long time since we've seen them at the front, and they were really fast in Sao Paulo. Jake is continuing that theme on. Yeah. I don't think it'll be too long before Felipe gets up to speed tomorrow as well. Although, as Roger touched on, FP1 is in the heat, and FP2 is going to be at 7:30 tomorrow morning, and it was like 10 degrees this morning at 7:30, so it's going to be very different for him to learn that one before qualifying.
It really is. It's like winter in the morning here, and then it's like boiling, baking in the afternoon. Now it is time to go down to Karun, who is with the fastest man of FP1, Jake Dennis.
Indeed I am. Jake, nice to see you quick again this weekend. Your team boss, Roger Griffiths, was just saying that it looks like the session went well for everyone.
Yeah, it went really well. I mean, straight from run 1, we were in the top 2, so overall, immediately the car felt in the window. It's always been a bit of a struggle to get the right balance here, but compared to what I've had in previous rounds, we've been feeling good.
So let's talk about this new turn 1, reprofile turn 1. What do you think of it?
I mean, yeah, definitely new profile. It's quite tight now, but I'm glad they brought this wall in a bit closer. It actually stops us running quite far onto the grass, still taking 2 wheels, but yeah, it's a better compromise, better balance compared to last season.
Do you think it's going to create a bit of a dip there on the outside?
I am a little bit worried of that. I think qualifying will be okay, but in the race it could become a bit of an issue because minimum speeds are going to come even higher.
Now I notice you take a much wider entry here to a lot of other drivers, but clearly the front of the car rotates really well because you're able to get it right onto that apex. So that's a good front response that you want, isn't it?
Yeah, this lap was actually a bit different to most of us. I actually went in quite hard into that corner because they said I was slow and set to 1, and that marker is right in the braking zone. So I thought maybe I'm just early on the brakes into 5. Went quite deep, but I got a really good cutback, really good traction, and set to 2, we've always been really strong.
So let's look at it here as you come into the stadium. What's the track like here? Because it changes a lot of surfaces, doesn't it, through the stadium section?
Yeah, it's really hard. I think this corner here is the hardest. A bit of traffic coming up as well, which lost me about 1/10.5, which was not great. But yeah, just lots of different track surfaces changes. Here's like ice rink compared to the rest of the lap.
Yeah, let's try and highlight that for people, because you can see there's a line
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
isn't it? And then it
And
transforms.
as soon as you hit that, and it's a slightly different reprofiling of turns 15, so we actually carry quite a lot of speed through here now.
into this right-hander.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I sort of get my vision blocked completely here by the DS, but managed to get it just down into the apex, and then
Yeah.
it's just flooring it with a 350,
And
holding
this-
on. And
Talk to me about this one, because so many drivers could see, just even yourself there, seesawing at the wheel.
Yeah.
It looks tricky.
yeah, it's sort of, you have to send it because you have to need to carry good speed through it, but the apex is so late on, you kind of don't really know where you're going to end up, and just stayed on with track limits. But overall, car's in a good window. We are fast 300, 350, and feeling good going in tomorrow.
Right, listen, thank you for your time. Good luck for tomorrow. Thank you. Back to you, Nicki.
Thank you very much to Kroon and Jake there. A very nice position to be in at the start of a race weekend, isn't it? But it is still very early days. Just want to touch upon the fact that obviously Porsche provide the powertrain to Andretti. Does the relationship very much end immediately there? I mean, over the course of the years, we've seen like when Jaguar and Envision were sharing a powertrain, we used to see the teams kind of come together during the course of a race weekend. We don't really see that, do we, with Andretti and Porsche?
We saw a lot of conflict between Jake and Pascal over the years, and when they were fighting for championships. And also think, you have to remember that Andretti won a championship with Jake before Porsche, and that didn't go down well with Porsche. So there is, it's very tough for Porsche to swallow that one, to be beaten by one of their customers. And Jake is proving that he's definitely up for the challenge once again.
Yeah, truly phenomenal. So that's a bit of a recap of what happened in FP1. I think we should probably cast our memory back, if you can remember, before all of those mounds of turkey and all the Christmas presents that you opened when we were in Sao Paulo at the start of December. Jake Dennis obviously won that race, but the two other stars was Nick Cassidy and Oliver Rowland, who both qualified back down in P13 and 15, and they just, elbows out, carved their way through the fields, both of them, to finish on the podium. What do you think it was for, let's start off with Oliver Rowland, who finished in P2 there. How did he manage to convert that qualifying position into another podium finish and continuing his defence of his championship?
For me, it was typical Oliver Rowland. Elbows were firmly out in the first few laps, and he made progress early on in the race. And what Oliver Rowland and the likes of Nick Cassidy as well, they're both really efficient at making their way through the traffic in those tight bunched up races. They don't get caught up losing front wings on the outside of corners and having to really stop the car at the apex. When you're in that sort of energy sort of saving phase of the race, but you want to make progress, you've got to keep the minimum speeds up through the corners, got to find the right overtakes that doesn't cost you too much time. That's what those drivers do. They find those moments, they make the most of them. Oliver got himself into a lovely position at the front of the field, and then he started to really manage his energy in the second half of the race.
So it was all celebrations on one side of the garage, but unfortunately there was that contact between Oliver Rowland and his teammate, which ultimately ended Norman Natto's race. What is are there any tensions between teammates? Who was at fault there?
I would definitely imagine so. For me, that was more Oliver Rowland's fault than it was Norman Natto's. Norman left the space there, but his teammates should have known not to put his car there, so it was a bit difficult. But going back to the Nick Cassidy one, I just wanted to say something on this. He managed his race in a different way to Oliver Rowland. So Oliver Rowland went to the front and sort of managed it there. Nick stayed at the back, and he managed his energy and built quite a big energy buffer, and then waited for the race to really come to him quite late. And we've seen Nick Cassidy do that quite a lot. He's a real master of this. And then he just finds himself at the front at the end, and all of us are left wondering why he's on the podium again. But he is a true master of energy efficiency.
I don't know about you, James, but just on that point, it's interesting their different styles, Oliver Rowland and Nick Cassidy, of how they make their way through a race. For me, they found styles that suit how they naturally drive. Oliver Rowland is naturally always on the front foot. Nick Cassidy, he likes to be sort of conservative and let everyone else make the mistakes in front of him, and then he's got a clear energy advantage, and he just uses that to cut his way through the field. It's interesting to see they really have found their styles in this racing.
Well, let's turn our attention to tomorrow, because we have a very intense day. I think obviously this is such a different track to what we saw in Sao Paulo. It's this high speed, high altitude as well. What is going to be the key to getting qualifying right tomorrow? Is it that turn 9? Is that where the advantage and the gains can be made?
I think we saw a lot of people focusing on the 300 kilowatt running, because getting through the groups is going to be crucial. You have to make it to the duels. You have to be starting really in the top 6 maybe even top 5 if you want a shot at winning this race. Whereas in Sao Paulo, you could start further back, as we were just mentioning with Roland and Cassidy. I really feel that qualifying is going to be important. I think we're going to see a winner from the top 3 on the grid tomorrow, so it's going to be important to nail that first part of the group phase and really build your momentum and be there in the shootout of the duels for the final.
And once we get into the race, obviously because we are at this high altitude, how much is that going to affect the slipstream that we obviously see in certain races, but perhaps less so here?
Yeah, you get less of a slipstream at this high altitude because of the thinner air. So that means that, you know, the energy saving will be a little bit less. But I think in the grand scheme of things, this isn't really about energy management, this circuit. It's more about just being in the right position after qualifying, because it's harder to overtake it.
So, quick one then. First race predictions of the weekend. Who's on pole and who's going to win the race?
After you, James.
I'm going to go with Pascal Wehrlein on pole.
Predictable.
And I'm going to go with Jake Dennis for the win.
I'm going roles reverse. Jake Dennis will be on pole. Pascal's going to win the race.
I like it. All right. Well, join us tomorrow and find out if either of these two are right. It is, of course, the 150th race of Formula E's history. We're on air for FP2 at 7:30. Don't miss it. We'll see you tomorrow.